September 12th, 1942. South Atlantic Ocean. A German U-boat captain stares through his periscope at something that shouldn't be there. Bodies, hundreds of them, floating in the dark water. Women, children, men clinging to wreckage, screaming for help in multiple languages. He just torpedoed a British troopship. Standard warfare. Nothing unusual. But now he's hearing Italian voices in the water, his allies, drowning because of his torpedo. Werner Hartenstein has a decision to make, and what he does next will break every rule of submarine warfare. He's going to save them, all of them, even if it kills his entire crew. For 2 days, this works. 3 U-boats, hundreds of survivors pulled from the ocean, a Red Cross flag flying from a German submarine, enemy soldiers sharing food with their rescuers, and then an American bomber spots them. What happens next will haunt everyone involved for the rest of their lives. It will change the rules of naval warfare forever, and it will prove that in war, mercy is the most dangerous thing you can show. This is the Laconia incident, and I guarantee nothing you know about World War II prepared you for this. September 1942. The RMS Laconia cuts through the South Atlantic, zigzagging to avoid U-boats. She's not beautiful anymore. Before the war, she was a luxury liner. Polished wood, crystal chandeliers, wealthy passengers sipping champagne in her dining rooms. That's gone now. Ripped out. Replaced with cramped bunks and military equipment. The Laconia is a troopship, and she's carrying a ticking time bomb. 2,732 people crammed into a ship designed for half that number. 268 British soldiers and crew. 80 civilians, including women and children. 160 Polish soldiers who fought alongside the British in North Africa. And locked in the hold, barely able to move. 1,800 Italian prisoners of war. 1,800 men, captured fighting for the Axis, now being shipped to POW camps in England. Locked below deck in sweltering, overcrowded compartments. The ship smells like sweat and diesel fuel. The Italians can hear the ocean through the hull, metal creaking, water rushing past. Some of them pray, some play cards, most just try to sleep. They don't know that 200 meters away, moving at periscope depth, U-156 is tracking them. Captain Lieutenant Werner Hartenstein is 34 years old, professional, decorated, one of the best submarine commanders in the Kriegsmarine. He's been hunting in these waters for weeks. Fuel running low, torpedoes counted. Time to head home soon. Then his sonar operator hears something. Large vessel, unescorted, moving slowly. Hartenstein raises the periscope, scans the horizon. There, a big ship, maybe 20,000 tons, zigzagging but predictable. He doesn't know what it is. Could be a troopship, could be carrying supplies, could be anything. Doesn't matter. According to the rules of submarine warfare, he's allowed to sink it. He checks the position, calculates the firing solution. The math is simple. Prepare torpedoes 1 and 2. The crew moves silently. They've done this dozens of times. Fire 1. The torpedo leaves the tube with a compressed air hiss. Bubbles trail behind it. Fire 2. Another one, slicing through the dark water toward the Laconia. Hartenstein watches through the periscope, waiting. 8:07 p.m. The first torpedo slams into the Laconia's port side. The explosion is massive. Metal rips. Steam erupts. The entire ship shudders. Down in the hold, the Italian POWs are thrown against the walls. Water pours in, black and cold. The lights go out. Men scream in Italian. In the darkness, nobody can see. The water is already knee-deep. Some British guards run to unlock the hold doors. Others don't. Some doors open. Some stay locked. Chaos. The Italians who escape the hold scramble up the ladders, pushing, shoving. The water is rising behind them. Up on deck, British crew members are trying to launch lifeboats. But the ship is listing, tilting to one side. Ropes tangle. Davits jam. One lifeboat drops too fast, dumps everyone into the ocean. The civilians are terrified, women clutching children, running toward any boat they can find. The Polish soldiers help where they can. But there aren't enough boats, not nearly enough. The second torpedo might have hit, or might have missed. Accounts differ. Doesn't matter. One was enough. The Laconia is dying. Within minutes, the ocean is full of people, some in lifeboats, most just floating, clinging to wreckage, calling for help. The water is cold, not freezing, but cold enough. How long can you survive in 70-degree water? Hours, maybe. If you're lucky, the Laconia continues to list. More people jump, more people drown, and 200 meters away, U-156 surfaces to identify what they just sank. Hartenstein brings the submarine up. Standard procedure. Surface. Identify the target. Maybe question some survivors. The crew opens the hatch, fresh air, or rushes in. Then they hear the voices. Hundreds of them. Screaming, crying, calling out in the darkness. Hartenstein climbs to the conning tower, looks around. The ocean is covered with people, and they're speaking Italian. Aiuto! Aiuto! Help! Help! Hartenstein's blood freezes. Why are Italians on a British ship? He orders some survivors pulled aboard for questioning. That's when he learns the truth. The ship was carrying 1,800 Italian POWs, his allies, technically on his side in this war, and he just killed hundreds of them. Put yourself in his position for a second. You've just torpedoed a ship. Standard military operation. You followed all the rules. And now you're looking at hundreds of drowning people. Men, women, children. Many of them your allies. What do? Hartenstein makes a decision that will define the rest of his life. He's going to save as many as he possibly can. Begin rescue operations. Immediately. The crew stares at him. They're 500 miles from land, in enemy-controlled waters. A submarine on the surface is a sitting duck. Any Allied plane, any warship, they're dead. But Hartenstein doesn't care. The German sailors start pulling people from the water. Men first, then women, then children. They haul them onto the submarine's deck, give them water, blankets, whatever they have. U-156 isn't designed for this. It's a Type 9C submarine, built to hunt ships, not rescue them. The interior is cramped even with just the crew. Now, they're packing survivors onto every available surface. Deck, gun platforms, anywhere there's space. But there are too many people in the water. Way too many. Hartenstein does the math. Over 1,000 people still out there. His submarine can hold maybe 100. He needs help. So he does something absolutely unprecedented. He sends a message, in plain English, not coded, not encrypted, broadcasting to anyone who can hear. The message says, "If any ship will assist the shipwrecked Laconia crew, I will not attack, provided I am not being attacked by ship or air forces." I picked up 193 men, 4 degrees, 53 minutes south, 11 degrees, 26 minutes west. German submarine. Read that again. A German U-boat commander is broadcasting his exact position to the enemy, promising not to attack any ship that comes to help. This is insane. This breaks every rule. This could get him court-martialed. Hartenstein doesn't care. He also sends encrypted messages to German headquarters, explaining the situation, requesting assistance. Admiral Karl Dönitz receives the messages. Dönitz is a hardliner, runs the U-boat fleet with ruthless efficiency. Sentiment doesn't factor into his decisions, but even Dönitz is moved. He orders 2 more U-boats to the area, U-506 and U-507. He contacts the Vichy French, asks them to send ships from their West African base. The French agree. They dispatch the cruiser Gloire and 2 destroyers, 3 German U-boats, 3 Vichy French ships, all racing to save the Laconia survivors. For 48 hours, something remarkable happens. The German submarines work around the clock, pulling survivors from the water, towing lifeboats, distributing food and medical supplies. U-156 is so packed with survivors, that men are sleeping on the outer hull, on the gun platforms. Anywhere there's room. The submarine can barely dive. If they're attacked now, they're helpless. Hartenstein builds a tow line, attaches 4 lifeboats behind his submarine, starts pulling them through the water. Imagine this scene: a German U-boat flying a massive Red Cross flag that the crew rigged up, towing lifeboats full of British soldiers, Italian POWs, Polish fighters, and civilians, moving slowly through the South Atlantic. It's the middle of the most brutal war in human history. And here's this moment of pure humanity. U-506 arrives, picks up more survivors. U-507 arrives, does the same. Together, the 3 submarines are saving hundreds of lives. The Vichy French ships are still 2 days away, but they're coming. For a brief moment, it looks like this might work. Some of the British soldiers on U-156 are stunned. The German crew is sharing their food rations, giving up their bunks. These are supposed to be enemies. But right now, they're just people helping people. Hartenstein hasn't slept in days. He's coordinating the rescue, waiting for the French ships, keeping that Red Cross flag flying, continuing to broadcast in English. September 16th, 1942, 4 days after the torpedo attack. An American B-24 Liberator bomber takes off from Ascension Island. Lieutenant James D. Harden is the pilot. He's on patrol, looking for enemy submarines. And then he spots them. 3 submarines on the surface, towing lifeboats, surrounded by survivors in the water. Harden sees the Red Cross flag on U-156. He sees the lifeboats. The survivors on deck are waving, some frantically, trying to signal that this is a rescue operation. Harden radios his base, describes what he's seeing. The response is unclear. Different accounts say different things. Some say he was ordered to attack. Others say he was told to use his judgment. What's not in dispute is what happens next. Harden attacks. He lines up his approach, drops 2 bombs near U-156. The bombs miss the submarine, but they hit one of the lifeboats. The explosion kills dozens of survivors instantly. Bodies fly through the air, debris everywhere. Hartenstein cannot believe what just happened. He's flying a Red Cross flag. He's broadcasting peaceful intentions, and he just got bombed. Cut the lifeboats loose. Everyone off the deck, now. The German crew frantically pushes survivors off the submarine. Some survivors are confused, pleading to stay. No time. Harden makes another pass. More bombs. Closer this time. The explosions rock U-156. Water cascades over the deck. More survivors killed. Hartenstein has no choice. Crash! Dive! Crash! Dive! U-156 drops beneath the surface, leaving hundreds of survivors in the water, watching their rescuers disappear. U-506 and U-507 see what's happening. They cut their tow lines, dive immediately. Just like that, the rescue is over. The German submarines are gone. The survivors are back in the ocean. The Vichy French ships are still a day away. The French ships do arrive. The Gloire and her escorts pick up hundreds of survivors. They save a lot of lives, but the damage is done. Out of 2,732 people on the Laconia, only 1,083 survive, 1,649 people dead. The Italian POWs suffered worst. Out of 1,800, only about 450 survived. Most died in the initial torpedo attack, or in the days floating in the ocean afterward. Admiral Dönitz is furious. He issues what becomes known as the Laconia Order. Don't rescue survivors. Don't pick them up. Don't tow their lifeboats. Don't do anything that puts your submarine at risk. The order doesn't explicitly say, kill survivors, but it makes clear that rescue operations are forbidden. This order becomes a major point at the Nuremberg trials. Dönitz is charged with war crimes. The prosecution argues the Laconia Order encouraged U-boat crews to leave survivors to die. Dönitz argues that Hartenstein tried to do the right thing and got bombed for it. The tribunal finds him not guilty on this specific charge. They accept that the order was a response to legitimate tactical concerns. But the debate continues to this day. Werner Hartenstein never stopped believing he did the right thing. He continued commanding U-156 after the incident, but his luck ran out in March 1943. U-156 was attacked and sunk by an American aircraft in the Caribbean. Hartenstein and his entire crew were killed. He was 34 years old. Before he died, Hartenstein told other U-boat commanders about the Laconia incident. He expressed frustration, sadness. He believed his humanitarian act had been punished. Lieutenant James Harden, the American pilot, lived with controversy for the rest of his life. Some called him a hero for attacking enemy submarines. Others called him a war criminal for bombing a rescue mission. Harden maintained that he followed orders, that he did what he thought was right in the moment. He said he didn't realize the full extent of what was happening until later. He carried the weight of that decision for decades. The survivors had mixed feelings. Many rescued by the German U-boats before the bombing expressed gratitude to Hartenstein and his crew. They acknowledged that these German sailors risked their lives to save them. Some British and Polish survivors wrote letters after the war, trying to set the record straight. They wanted people to know that for those few days, enemies became rescuers. The Italian survivors, who lost so many comrades, had more complicated feelings. Some blamed the British for not protecting the ship better. Others blamed Hartenstein for torpedoing it in the first place. Some blamed Harden for bombing the rescue. There was plenty of blame to go around. The Laconia incident doesn't have a clear villain. That's what makes it haunting. Hartenstein was following the rules of war when he torpedoed the Laconia. He didn't know there were POWs on board. Once he found out, he tried to save as many people as possible. Harden was following his training when he attacked those submarines. From his perspective, he saw enemy U-boats on the surface, in the middle of a war where those same U-boats were sinking Allied ships daily. Dönitz was trying to protect his submarine crews when he issued the Laconia order. He just watched one of his best commanders get bombed while performing a rescue. Everyone was operating within a system that turned human beings into targets and made mercy a liability. The real lesson isn't about who was right or wrong. It's about the impossible situations that war creates. Think about it. Hartenstein did something genuinely noble. He risked his boat, his crew, his career to save lives, and he got bombed for it. That bombing wasn't just an attack on one submarine. It was an attack on the very idea that humanity could exist in warfare. It sent a message: compassion will be punished. The Laconia order was the result. For the rest of the war, German U-boats left survivors in the water. Allied submarines did the same. The ocean became even more merciless. How many people died because the lesson of the Laconia was, don't bother rescuing the enemy? We'll never know. But here's what gets me about this story. For 2 days, the rescue worked. For 2 days, German sailors and Allied survivors coexisted on those cramped submarines. They shared food. They helped each other. Some of them probably had conversations. For 2 days, the war stopped mattering and people just helped people. That's the tragedy. It was possible. Humanity was possible. Even in the middle of the Atlantic. Even in the middle of the worst war in human history. And then one moment destroyed it all. 4 bombs from a B-24 Liberator. Hundreds more people died. Not just in that immediate attack, but in all the rescues that never happened afterward. There's a memorial in Liverpool for the Laconia. It lists the names of those who died. British, Polish, Italian. It doesn't matter. They're all remembered together, because in the end, they all drowned in the same ocean. Werner Hartenstein's name isn't on that memorial, but maybe it should be. Not as a victim, but as someone who tried to stop the dying. The Laconia incident is taught in naval academies around the world now. It's a case study in the laws of war, in ethical decision-making under pressure, in the consequences of attacking protected operations. The rules have changed since then. Modern naval law is clearer about rescue operations. The Red Cross symbol is supposed to mean something, but the fundamental tension remains. In war, mercy is vulnerability. Helping the enemy can get you killed. And sometimes the right thing to do is also the most dangerous thing to do. Hartenstein chose danger. He chose mercy, and he paid for it. Whether that makes him a hero or a fool depends on who you ask. But here's what I think. In a war where millions died, where entire cities were bombed, where the ocean was turned into a killing field, one U-boat captain tried to save lives instead of taking them. For 2 days, he made the Atlantic a little less dark. That has to count for something. The last lifeboats from the Laconia were picked up on September 17th, 1942. 5 days of hell for those survivors. 5 days floating in the South Atlantic, not knowing if rescue would come. When the Vichy French ships finally arrived, some survivors wept. Others were too exhausted to react. They were taken to ports in West Africa, sorted by nationality, eventually repatriated or sent to prison camps. For them, the war continued, but they carried the memory of the Laconia with them. The memory of the torpedo strike, the chaos, the drowning, the desperate days in the water, and for some, the memory of German sailors pulling them from the ocean, giving them water, promising they'd be saved. That's the part that doesn't fit neatly into wartime narratives. The enemy saved us. The people we were fighting became our rescuers. How do you reconcile that? You don't, really. You just live with it. If you're still here, thank you. This story doesn't have a happy ending. It doesn't have a satisfying conclusion where justice prevails. It's messy. It's tragic. It's a reminder that war makes everything complicated. But it's also a reminder that even in the worst circumstances, some people still choose humanity. Werner Hartenstein chose it. His crew chose it. For 2 days, they proved it was possible to be warriors and human beings at the same time. The ocean eventually took Hartenstein, just like it took so many others in that war, But the choice he made that September night in 1942, the choice to rescue instead of retreat, that choice echoes through history. It asks us a question we still grapple with today. When mercy becomes dangerous, when compassion puts you at risk, when helping the enemy could get you killed, what do you do? Hartenstein gave us his answer, and whether you agree with it or not, you have to respect the courage it took. The Laconia lies on the ocean floor now, 2,300 fathoms down, a war grave holding hundreds of souls. Somewhere in the Caribbean, U-156 rests in the same dark water. Enemies in life, equals in death, both victims of the same war. That's the final irony of the Laconia incident. In the end, the ocean didn't care who was German, who was British, who was Italian, who was Polish. It took them all the same. Maybe that's the real lesson. When you strip away the flags and the uniforms and the politics, we're all just people trying to survive in a very dark ocean. Some of us try to pull each other out. Some of us let each other drown. And sometimes, the people who try to help pay the highest price of all. Remember the Laconia. Remember the rescue that became a massacre. Remember that in the middle of humanity's darkest hour, some people still chose to be human. And remember the cost of that choice, because it's a choice we all still have to make, every single day, in ways big and small. Do we help even when it's dangerous? Do we show mercy even when it makes us vulnerable? Do we stay human even when the world pulls us toward darkness? Werner Hartenstein said yes, and it killed him. But his story lives on. And maybe, just maybe, that matters more than how it ended. The last survivor of the Laconia died in 2011. But the questions the incident raises are still alive, still burning, still asking us what we would do. What would you do?